Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Pz.Sfl 4B, otherwise known as a Heuschreck 10 or Grasshopper 10. It's the Tier 4 German turreted SPG located on the northwest spawn of Fjords under the command of Gary Halliwell of FILO. Now it's armed with a 105mm gun. In fact, it's the very same gun that's on the Fifi, otherwise known as the Leffy. And it's capable of firing once every 14.22 seconds. It's got an alpha damage of 410 with a penetration of 26mm of armour and a burst radius of 1.91 metres. And it's built on the hull of a Panzer IV with some Panzer III running gear. So it's a vehicle that makes use of certain parts or bits and pieces that the Germans produce quite a lot of. That gun, the 105mm light field howitzer, is probably their most produced artillery piece during the war, and of course the Panzer IV, which is also one of the most popular vehicles, one of the most popular Panzers that the Germans made. Not the most made, that was the Panzer III actually, but it does have Panzer III parts. So he's now dialing in on the BT7. He hits the rock face just in front. It was in the reticule, and he was trying to get a good accurate shot, missing the rock but hitting the tank. And I think he's got that fully dialed in, but he's just waiting for the reload to complete. He fires around in, it goes over the top and lands on the wall behind him, I'm afraid. It's a very, very difficult shot. Here we go again. This time he gets it bang on target, and the BT7 takes a huge hit for 328. Now I suspect that might have been a penetrating shot. Okay, fires another one in, and this time round the BT7 is hit for 184. That's a non-penetrating shot, but it did hit the rear of the BT7. And then he's now one shot for anybody who pokes their head round the corner. In fact, the Skoda is coming down to try and protect him, and there's a Cruiser 4 making his way up there as well. He's trying to fend off that M8A1, and it's losing a lot of hit points. In fact, both of them lost a lot of hit points, but the M8A1, I'm afraid, was killed. The Cruiser 4 is about to die. Yeah, he's gone. And Gary's still aiming towards the BT7 and the Skoda. The BT7's been killed. Our DSPZ managed to get him, and there's a direct hit on the Skoda this time, 121. He's trying to get the aim perfect so that he can get the next shot right on the money. He's fully dialed in, so no, doesn't have to worry about that. Rounds out, lands just on the rock wall next to him, no damage. As I said, there's a splash radius of 1.91 meters, so if the shell lands right next door to the guy, it's probably going to do quite a lot of damage. Rounds out. Oh, the Skoda moves away. In fact, the shell hits the rock anyway. And they've lost their Su-85, but the Skoda's looks like he's about to kill that KV-85 down below. But Skoda pulls away, and this time he does get hit. 157, and he's now fairly much out in the open, which should make it much easier for Gary to get the kill shot. Except, of course, there's enemy tanks very close by to Gary now, and if he fires, they will see where he is, and they will start shooting at him. He's aiming for the T-34, but he then switches his aim back to the T6 medium. Now, he might get seen when he fires. He does hit the T6 for 148, but no, he wasn't spotted. So all he needs to do is stay behind cover and keep repeating that. He's aiming now for the T-34. He's auto-aimed on. Fully dialed in. Yes! Well, almost. It was 2 seconds away from being fully dialed in, but he did get a hit. 115 off that one. He's going back to the T-34, who did feel that shot and fired back at him. And he tries another shot. That one didn't work. He's now hiding behind the rock, and the T-34 is firing HE at him. And he's taking fire from the T6 medium now as well, so he has to pull back. Otherwise he will be taken out the game. He's lost half his hit points. But that T-34 is proceeding, and he's now got another solution. And this time round he's got the bushes to help him. And yes, oh, that's good! He got an arsonist. He's set right to the T-34 and he's out the game. Now he just needs to do the same to this VK. He auto-aimed on. Unfortunately, he lost sight of the target. The T6 medium went round the corner. And he's been killed by the BT7. And that means there's just that VK3001H. He's aiming at his ass. Come on, do it. Yes, right into the rear. In fact, that's not his rear, that's his front, actually. He turned his turret all the way around. Okay, so that's why that shot didn't penetrate as much as I thought it might. He's going for another shot. Blind shot, hits the target. So he will have done damage, but he just can't see the target just yet. He's going to hold his aim on that spot, because obviously that is where that tank is. Fires another one in, and it hits the ground. So it may be that that tank has moved now. Okay, the question is, where does he move to? His team are 2 up on the enemy. There's only 4 of them out there now. I think he'd probably like to move away from this position, but he can't really because he doesn't know where the VK3001H is. Most of the other enemy tanks are right down in the south of the map. Oh, they found the T-3485M, and there is the VK. He has been spotted. He was still there. He was just hiding behind the Rex. Okay, he's dialed in, rounds out, direct hit, 124. He's letting the aim settle before he shoots. If he gets a 0, then he can shoot accurately. Just waiting for the reload. And he fires just as he reloads, and the enemy is already dead. But he did get rid of that problem. He's got 1.5k of actual damage on the enemy so far. There's still 2 enemies out there in the game, and they're both in this vicinity, T-3485M and a KV-2. He's aiming ahead of the T-34, long range shot, very close indeed. He was aiming ahead, leading the target, and the shell did go close to him, but he's now hiding behind that house, and the KV-2 is hiding behind a different house, so it makes it very difficult for us to get a shot. Gary's firing one in, just in case he can get him. Can't see him. The Skoda's on the peninsula, trying to spot him. We can see where the KV-2 is, but we can't hit him because those buildings, they are acting as natural cover. Well, not natural cover, but cover anyway. And the KV-2 moves a little, and for a brief moment we had a solution, but now he's gone behind another house. But the Skoda T-24 is coming up. He might be able to dislodge that guy, and in the meantime Gary now knows where the T-3485M is and switches to the KV-2 because he's an imminent threat to that Skoda T-24, and he's got a perfect solution. The T-34 is killed. The shell goes in, but it hits the roof of that building. Oh, and the Skoda got derped. But the KV-2 is pulled back to reload, and while he's doing that, he's given Gary an accurate shot on target, but again he pulls into cover. Only 1 enemy left, 5 on our team. The KV-2 is gone. The Skoda T-25 gets the kill shot. And that's it, the end of the game. So, how well did Gary Halliwell do in this game? Well, we'll have to see any second with the end of battle results. It's an ace tanker for Gary Halliwell FILO in the Pz.Sfl 4B. He managed to get an arsonist badge in this one. He set fire to one of the enemy tanks, watching him burn up. That was the T-34. And unfortunately, that was the only kill he managed to get in the game. But his win rate from the game was 5,866, which is Super Unicum standard. So let's have a look at team score. He didn't get the highest damage in the game. He got the second highest damage. The highest damage was actually done by the Skoda T-25. He got a high caliber for 1,994 hit points. And Gary Halliwell was just behind him with 1,640 hit points. And then came the T-3485M on the enemy team with 1,488. When it came to kills, it was the Skoda T-25 who did the best with 4 kills. 3 kills went to the Matilda and the Skoda T-25 on the enemy team. and 2 kills went to the KV85. Gary managed 1 kill, the T34, but didn't get any more on this occasion. But when it came to base XP, he was in 4th place because the Skoda T25 came tops with 1041, the Matilda 613, the Panzer Mark IV Ausführung H managed 609, and then we've got Gary with 596. He fired 26 rounds in that game, got 10 direct hits, 1 penetration, 11 splash. Damage of 1,640 hit points, of which 790 were up more than 300 meters. So you can see that quite a lot of the damage he did was actually at fairly close. He received 3 hits from the enemy. 1 was penetration, 2 was splash. Yes, they were firing HE at him rather than AP rounds. AP will penetrate, but HE can do damage to Arty because they've got very thin skins. On this occasion, he was firing at a Pz.Sfl, and the thing is that actually does have fairly good armour, because remember, it's basically a Panzer Mark IV, which is a medium tank. Medium tanks have fairly heavy armour, so if you fire at it thinking, oh, that's an SPG, I'll fire HE at it and I'll get better results. No, you won't. You'll get better results with an armour piercing because it's got better armour than a standard standard self-propelled gun. So remember that fact. That's an important factor for anti-tank drivers, but it's also for Arty players. Remember, some Artys have more armour than others do. It depends on the tank that you actually derive the Arty from. He actually received 3 hits from the enemy. I think we did that one. Yes, sorry, we'll miss that out. He actually damaged 5 of the enemy, killed 1, and did 232 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 26,513 credits, and after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables took away a profit of 2,515 credits. He also earned 894 XP for the game, ×2 for the first victory, and took away 1,788 experience points altogether. So, another ace tanker for Gary Hannawell. He's had one in this vehicle before, but it just goes to show his standards still as high as it used to be. And we've got another replay by him very shortly, so stick around to our channel and you'll see that one too. Thanks for watching.